to Crochet 101. In today's video, we're going to be working on single crochet. So if you have not watched the chain video yet, you're going to want to go watch that and practice making your chain. You want it to look pretty consistent, so you don't want your chain too tight or too loose, as it'll make it hard to work your single crochet. So I've made up a quick little swatch to show you the next few videos that we're going to be working on. So these rows here are all single crochet, and these first few are single crochet. So it is going to be your shortest stitch, and it's going to be your most common stitch that you will see in most patterns. So that's what we're going to start with. And then you'll see on this row as it gets taller, so this is single crochet, half double crochet, and triple crochet. So you can see the different heights in each different stitch, and those will be the next, including this one, 4 videos that we work on so that you can get your basic crochet stitches learned and practiced so you can do most patterns with those 4 stitches. Alright, so we're going to start out by making our chain, and when we do this, and I will show you how to work in rows like this as well. So you're going to make your chain however many you want to make, just to practice this stitch. So I'm going to do 15. Okay, so once you have the amount of stitches that you want, you're going to chain 1. Okay, this is called your turning chain. So if you're, I would work with a bigger hook if I haven't mentioned that already. This will help you to see your stitches a little bit better. But you're going to make your chain, and then if you're working with single crochet, just chain 1 extra one at the end of your chain row. Okay, so that should look like this. So when we go back across this chain to make our first row of single crochet, we're going to work in the second chain from our hook. So we don't count this first one. That's our turning chain. Okay, so we work in this second, and you can see they make kind of a V shape. So don't go into this first one. You work into the second one. Okay, so to make a single crochet, you're going to insert into that first chain there that we're working in, insert your hook, and then you're going to pull your yarn through. This is called yarning over. Okay, and then you're going to have 2 loops on your hook. Okay, then we're going to yarn over again, and we're going to pull through both of those, and that is a single crochet. Okay, so now we're going to find our next V shape here. We're going to insert our hook into that, pull our yarn through, and then yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. Okay, so we made 2 single crochet. All right, I'm going to show you that real quick in slow motion. Okay, so we have 3 now made, and you can see the tops of our stitches here. They make V's again, so our V stitch, and you can count them. So there's 1, 2, and 3. All right, so continue making your single crochet until the very end of the round, and then I'm going to show you the last couple stitches and then how to turn and work back across that to start building up our rows of single crochet. Okay, so we have most of our first row finished, and this is what this should look like. You can clearly see each stitch, the top of it, and you can count them that way. Okay, so we'll make our last 2 single crochet. So here's your slip knot. You just work in the stitch, don't work into that slip knot. Okay, and that's the last one. So if you want to go back and count, so we chained 15 plus 1. Okay, so that 1 is our turning chain, so you should have 15 single crochets made. That turning chain does not count as an actual stitch. Okay, So to make our row 2 of our single crochet, with single crochet, your turning chain is always going to be a chain 1. Okay, so just make a chain at the end of that row, and then you're going to turn your row over. So you're looking at the back of it. Okay, and that's what this will look like. Okay, so we're just going to repeat that process that we just did. So you're going to work under both of the loops, the top loops here, for our single crochet. Okay, so insert your hook, pull up a loop. You got 2 on your hook, yarn over and pull through both. Okay, so you're just going to repeat that across the same way you've been doing it on the last row. Okay, and real quick, I'm going to show you. So sometimes you'll see that you need to work in the back loop or the front loop of a stitch. Okay, so you'll look at these 2 stitches here. Here's the front loop and here's the back loop. So if you need to work in the back loop, you're just going to go under that back one. You're not going to go under the front one. Okay, and if you're going to work in the front loop only, you'll only go under that front loop of that V, the one closest to you, and then make your single crochet. But in most patterns, you're just going to work under both of those. Okay, so continue working your single crochet across row 2, and then I will show you one more time how to turn and make your next row, and then I'll have you make a certain amount of rows just to practice, and then I'll show you how to finish off your piece if you have made what you want and you're finished making it, and show you how to weave in the ends of your yarn. Okay, so we've made it to the end of row 2, and again, you should have 15 single crochet across. So I know, being a beginner, sometimes your stitches will be loose, sometimes they'll be tight, and you might end up missing a stitch in there. So to undo that, all you gotta do is take your hook out and then pull your yarn until you get to the spot where you need to fix. And then just reinsert your hook there, and then continue to work across. If you make a mistake or you miss a stitch, it's very normal when you're first learning how to crochet. Okay, so at the end of this round, you'll chain 1. So you'll do that at the end of every row. Okay, make your chain 1 when you're single crocheting, and then turn your piece over to the other side. So this is the front side that we started with. Okay, and then you're just going to continue that same pattern all the way across. So single crochet until you get to the end of the round or the row, and then chain 1 and turn. Okay, so once you have 6 rows made, I will show you how to finish off your piece. If you are finished, of course, if you're not finished, then you just keep going, but I'll show you how to weave those ends in. So when you are finished, you can have a completed piece. All right, I'll meet you back at the end of 6 rows. Okay, so we now have our 6 rows made, and I wanted you to do 6 rows just so I can show you how to count your rows. So we've learned how to count our stitches across, but sometimes you'll need to count your rows because certain patterns will tell you to do a certain amount of rows of this and then change and do a certain amount of rows of something else. So you'll want to be able to be consistent in that. So you can just clearly see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So you'll just see the different rows of stitches. So you'll be able to count up if you need to. All right, so to finish off for your last row, you will not want to chain 1, okay? That's only for if you're turning and working back across. So at the very end of your project, you will not make that chain 1. Okay, so the next thing you'll do is just go ahead and pull that loop out a little bit so that it doesn't come undone. And then you're going to cut your yarn, or you'll see it referred to as your tail. Okay, and then what you're going to do is insert that tail through that loop. You're going to just pull it through, and then you're just going to pull that tight. Okay, and that finishes off that yarn. So the next thing we're going to do is grab your darning needle or yarn needle, whatever you want to call it, and go ahead and pull your yarn through there. So the first thing I do is kind of go through that top loop and work it through to the middle of that next stitch. Okay, pull that through, and then we're just going to work through a few stitches kind of underneath them, and then pull that through, and then I go back across that the other direction one more time. And this just secures your yarn so that your piece doesn't come undone, because if you don't do this, you're kind of risking that work coming out and unraveling, and we definitely don't want that. So, and then when you've got that worked through, you just cut your yarn carefully at the end there and cut that off, and that piece is finished. So, and then you want to go back and do that to your beginning tail as well. And if once you learn how to change colors and stuff, you're going to have a lot of these, and it's not the most fun to weave them all in, but it's just a necessary evil. And eventually I will show you in these videos how to crochet over your tails, so you don't necessarily even have to do this part on some of your projects. Okay, and we'll finish this off. All right, so this is our single crochet practice swatch. So for the next video, I'm going to start with a different color, but I'm going to build on top of this. So our next video will be half double crochet. A little bit different stitch, and it's just a little bit taller than the single crochet, but it comes, I actually use the half double crochet quite often. So if you enjoyed working with this video and learning the single crochet, make sure you hit that bell icon so that you get notified of each new tutorial and each new stitch that I will show you. And of course, hit the subscribe button and like button for this video, as it will help to get it out there to other new crocheters. And I will see you in the next tutorial.